For a closer look inside Washington, D.C., let's talk with Pennsylvania Representative Scott Perry. Congressman, welcome back to Victory News.
Well, it's great to be here with you, Greg. Thank you very much. And of course, we look at this ruling on cars, and quite honestly, all Americans should be asking themselves, why does the federal government even have this power? But all it's going to do is drive up the cost of traditional vehicles that we're used to driving and drive up the cost of the fuel of them. At the same time, it's going to drive up the cost of your energy when you pay your electricity bill and reduce your options, while at the same time allow the government to essentially almost control when you drive, if you drive, where you drive, and how you drive.
Yeah, that's a frightening prospect, having now lived through COVID, what the government was able to do.
Right.
Now, Tuesday, you introduced the Energy Sovereignty Act. Tell us how it can shield states from radical Environmental Protection Agency actions.
Well, there's actually the Paris Climate Accord can be used to determine what states can and can't do, just based on the fact that that treaty, so-called, exists. And what the Energy Sovereignty Act says is that states and the individual states in the United States of America are not bound and should not be bound by other foreign nations who will say, you know, basically right now that treaty says, or that agreement says, that other foreign nations can determine what the individual states do and what the federal government does regarding climate. And we want the states and our own federal government to be beholden to the citizens of the United States, not the individuals living in other countries who wish to impose their will on us based on their view of our climate.
I think we would all agree with that. Thank you, sir, for doing that. Yesterday, the House Oversight Committee held hearings on the Biden family influence business, from Jared Moskowitz showing up in a Putin mask to AOC failing to grasp federal RICO law. Were the Democrats out to just be one big distraction from the truth, or were they interested in learning truth?
Well, I don't think they're really interested in learning truth, and what they're doing is en masse, they're protecting and defending the criminal enterprise that is the Biden family. If you remember and you watched most of the hearing, none of them really refuted any of the evidence. They said, well, there's no evidence, but testimony from direct witnesses is evidence. Emails is evidence. They didn't really refute that. What they did is they tried to shift the blame somehow to Donald Trump. Of course, the Putin mask, I'm not sure what that has to do with anything in this context, but they wouldn't address the issues on the table being brought forth by witnesses with direct knowledge, direct access to President Joe Biden.
Okay, now, last Friday, you introduced the Bullets Not Batteries Act and the Planes Not Panels Act. Congressman, besides really clever names, those are fascinating names, how will these help our defense and our military?
Well, what the Biden administration has sought to do is use the Defense Production Act to produce batteries instead of bullets, and solar panels instead of airplanes. And what the bill does is says the Defense Production Act is used to make sure that industries are producing defense articles in time of war, but not to produce solar panels and EVs and all kinds of things that are woke that the Biden administration wants under the Defense Production Act. So it really clarifies what the act is meant for. If you remember, during World War II, we mobilized much of the production, the industrial production in the United States for the war effort. But as usual, the liberals always use the things that are well intended to do other things. And we want to make sure they're focused on defending America and not using it to produce woke policies and products that Americans can't afford, don't want to buy, and are unnecessary.
Yeah, we got less than a minute here. Let's talk about your illegal immigration crisis. You voted to pass House Resolution 1065 condemning the Biden administration's immigration policies. Congressman Joe Biden continues to say he will act on the border crisis if the House will just support the Senate border security bill. Do you believe that he'll do that?
Well, he would certainly sign the Senate so-called border security bill, but it's not a security bill. It just allows more people to come illegally. What everybody needs to know is the president has all the authority right now in his hands to seal and secure this border. He just refuses to do it and blames everybody else for what he won't do.
More of the shell game. Congressman Scott Perry, sir, thank you so much for what you're doing, and thanks for being with us today.
thank you for the opportunity. God bless you.
God bless you.